Wildly popular podcaster and mixed master arts specialist, Master Cenk Uygur, Joe Rogan, he took to the air to please some of his conspiracy theory loving audience with another new assumption about things that were going on with Joe Biden and that COVID booster shot that he received earlier this week on air in front of media cameras and answering questions. He wasn't really buying it, if you can believe that. So first of all, let's go to that booster shot in question that Joe Biden was taking and how he pulled that off in front of everyone.
Vaccinations, get vaccinated before they can boosters here in America.
We are helping, we're doing more than every other nation in the world combined. We're going to have well over 1,100,000,000 shots, and we're going to continue going. We're going to do our part. We've also given a great deal of funding to COVAX, which is the vehicle that does this. So we have plenty of opportunity to make sure we get everyone in the world to play our part, the largest part in the world of getting everyone vaccinated.
Jesus, my man has a hairy shoulder. Anyway, that's just one thing I know. I'm sorry. So I actually that moment there, I'm curious what you guys think about that whole event and the process of that. But we'll get to that. Actually, let's do that now.
Yeah, before we.
What do you think about that kind of event, you guys? Like, it's in front of media, it's with cameras, and there's people potentially gonna ask a question. He wants to take the shot, I get it, in front of the cameras to let everyone know, hey, I'm doing it. I wouldn't be risking my life and implanting chips that Bill Gates directed me to implant in my body, if you guys didn't. First off, just that spectacle itself, is that worth it to do?
Yeah, so we're gonna get to Joe Rogan's conspiracy on this, but I know why he did it, and I'm actually furious about it as a progressive because I thought he was for gun control, and there he is flaunting his guns.
Took my joke.
You had it too, huh?
Yeah. Look, so right now there's somewhere out there is Corn Pop going, oh man, it's a good thing I didn't mess with him. Although we hear Corn Pop's actually dead. And maybe this is what intimidated Joe Rogan, and he was like, oh damn, hold on, wait, this guy might beat me in a fight. We'll get to that too in a second. Adrian, in all seriousness, my comment on this is I think it's good. This is, more people see it, and this makes it feel like, well, if the president's doing it, it must be safe. So what's your take on it?
I agree. I think it's a great example. At the same time, it's a little weird to watch someone on television get like a healthcare thing because Lord knows it's like I am not getting a pap smear on live TV. So I kind of like, do we really? How far are we gonna go in doing this whole? Let me show you. I got it done. Take care of yourself. I'm good, bro. I trust you, but I'm sure there are people out there who really needed to see that.
Yeah, I guess I see the reason for it. It's just, man, we're children. We have to see the president take a shot in order people feel comfortable with it. I mean, come on, bro. Yeah. This is weird.
But JR, I'll just say one last quick thing on that. Because it's all about percentages, right? So you and I don't need it. We're gonna get the shot either way. But there is some percentage of people who don't believe it, and then they go, oh, well, I just saw him take it. They ain't gonna give it to the president if it's dangerous. Okay, if they're going for that sliver of the population who will be convinced by that, and that does exist.
Worth it for a point. First off, you don't know that I took the shot. You're violating my HIPAA violation, my HIPAA rights. But now the meat of the story. So Joe Rogan, and he had a guest, Mike Baker, on as well, and they discussed this, but they weren't talking about whether or not it's helpful to do this. They found another angle to speak on this on. Let's listen to that.
Do you think he got a booster? Do you think that was a real booster?
You mentioned that before we started talking, and I hadn't thought about it before. But you know what? When I watched it on TV, when I watched him getting his shot and his mask on, all I could think of was this is performance art. So the next step of performance art would be like not giving him the booster, but just giving him a shot. Right?
I think if they were gonna give him a booster shot, the last thing they would do is give it to him live on television. What if he dies?
Right.
What if he blacks out? What if he gets it and faints? Because people have had very bad reactions, in the moment for whatever reason.
Right. No, I think they still tell you, they give you the shot and then they'll say, stick around for 10 or 15 minutes. They want to make sure you don't, fall down.
Yeah.
And so, no, I agree because every other step of the way with any president, they're so careful.
Yes.
Right? So careful about the messaging, the optics, the security issues related to it. It would be not unheard of.
Unless
Let's put it that
Kamala
way.
Harris talked him into it. She's like, go ahead, take it. Take a double. Give him a double.
Okay, so now I mean, obviously that's a joke near the end, but it's still, sometimes jokes, they're based in the fact that people believe some of this stuff. So yeah, I feel like there's this veneer where you can say, hey, well, check it out. We're just joking about this. I don't really believe that. I mean, he's the fake shot. Kamala Harris said he should take it so that she could take over when he blacks out. Because when you mix in little elements of jokes, or even things like, hey, some people do have adverse reactions to specifically the second vaccine shot. And you're like, we don't want the president to have any kind of adverse effects on air because that might discourage people. So there's elements of reality to the discussion, but it's continuing to press this whole, it's a fake, it's not really that vial is full of air, which would be horrible. So these are things that people said all the time, even when the first times they did this, because this isn't the first time that Biden did this.
Yeah, so look, are there photo ops in politics? Of course, there's a lot of things that are fake in politics. And do politicians do things for optics? Yes, right? So that idea is not outrageous. The problem is the underlying implication, because then he talks about, like, some people have very bad reactions. I'm like, no, so a lot of folks get a really sore arm over the next 24 hours. Some people get a little sick and then they're fine. They make you wait the 15 minutes, and I was like, I've never seen someone have an immediate terrible reaction, but they do make you wait, so I thought maybe, right? So I looked it up. No, the doctors say it is extremely rare for something to happen on the spot, right? He gets the shot and he's like, wow, stick to it. So that's not a real risk. So hence you don't have to do the optics of doing a fake booster shot. What fake thing should we put in there? Oh my God, don't put air, that'll be way worse, right? So very, very, very likely he actually got the real booster shot. But as he's talking about it, it makes it sound like, oh, they wouldn't do that on air because it's so dangerous. And then he jokes around about how Kamala Harris wants him to get a double. Now, what would be wrong with a double unless it's really dangerous? And that's the essence of the joke, which is, these vaccinations could actually harm you in a significant way. Yeah. When in reality, they're trying to protect you from harm. And that's the main underlying problem with Joe Rogan. He's now trying to fill Alex Jones' seat, I guess, and is become a conspiracy theorist. And everything about the vaccine is a conspiracy. The man, the government, et cetera, is out to get you. And if you're really strong and manly, and that's why I've talked online about us getting into a fight. We'll get into that in a second, okay? And my implication there is they've made this into a stupid macho thing. Oh yeah, real men don't get the vaccine, and if you do, it's super dangerous. And that's just not true. It's totally nonsense. And he's lying to his audience. Not lying. I think he actually believes it. But he's spreading misinformation, and that's why part of the reason I'm trying to regulate. Adrian, your thoughts?
No, I completely and totally agree with you. Trying to undermine essentially the veracity, validity of the vaccine by way of questioning whether Biden actually took it. And it is pushing on this whole idea that, oh, real men, you'll be fine, you can survive this, and all those lies about that, oh, COVID is not that severe and it's okay. It's just, you're absolutely right. He's just trying to fill Jones's shoes. And the thing is that people are actually listening to him and people are getting hurt, yet he does not seem to care as long as he's cashing those checks.
Yeah, it's not with a crazy approach. It's like a lighthearted, fun approach. So, speaking of lighthearted, fun approaches, I was perusing Twitter yesterday and I saw this tweet pop up. This guy named Cenk Uygur says to all the loser Joe Rogan fans crying over my attack on his quote freedom, hypocrisy, and stupidity. Are you guys part of the crew or do you kiss his ass for fun? I thought he was a big boy who could handle himself. He doesn't like my free speech. He can grow a pair and defend himself. To which one user said, I'll make a $1,000 donation to your trash network, Cenk, or your charity of choice to see you call Rogan, who is not only the most successful podcast in history, but also a black belt in mixed martial arts, a loser to his face. Because you know what'll happen then, right? So from that particular challenge, the gauntlet was laid down and Cenk picked it up and he said, deal. Easiest $1,000 I ever made. You think he's gonna assault me? Sure, whatever. That's incredibly dumb, but also wouldn't work. I'm much larger than Joe and I fought my whole life. I'd end him, but grown-ups don't do that. I'll send you the PO boxes, then check to later. Which then, you shouldn't have to go to Twitter to find all this out. Many people responded and said, "Bro, when's the last time you fought, bro? Hey, when's the last time you had a black belt in jiu-jitsu? How about floor-to-floor, hand-to-hand combat? What about kickboxing, bro?"
I'll end you all. Okay, no, all right. So listen, am I gonna fight him? Hold. We'll talk about it in the members section, tyt.com/join. But there's things I want to say here. Number one, to be fair to Joe, people keep making it seem like we're in a beef, but he never actually said anything, right? It's what's deeply amusing about this story is his boys, okay? And that's, I'm being polite. I don't know why I'm being polite, right? But the guy's kissing up to him. And it's tons of blue check right wingers. Like there's no left wingers involved anymore. I don't think there's any left wing at all left in his audience. It's all right wing at this point. And so when I go to check Joe on him being stupid on vaccines, because that's what he's being. Oh, you can't call that to his face. Oh, he'll get you. He'll assault punch you in the face. He's mixed martial arts. So I'm feeding into that with like, oh, okay, wow, is he? Guys, I've never been scared of a fight in my life. And so the idea that like little man's gonna come and be like, oh, you say that to my face. What's he gonna do? This is all, you guys are children, okay? And so, but here I'm actually I'm not putting Joe on blast. It's all his little boys who are like, oh no, oh yeah, Joe's gonna get you, Joe's gonna get you, okay? And then the mixed martial folks come in, oh, and then he's gonna do this kneecap thing to you and you don't know. And if people are trained, they just look at you and you'll collapse. And I've talked a lot about this in the bonus episodes and stuff that we do for members when we have fun and we're more casual, etc., right? As if we're not casual enough. Anyway, where I talked about the fights that I've gone into in the past, right? And you shouldn't do that, guys. That's crazy. First of all, everybody's got guns now. Don't get into any fights, okay? And even if they didn't have guns, what happens? You get punched the wrong way, you're gonna have, it's a disastrous idea, right? But when I was younger, I got to know a lot of fights. And half the time, guys would get into like some sort of martial arts pose. And I thought, oh, well, then this is gonna be easy. Because they always think like it's gonna be like in a ring and like and then, okay, and the ref goes like, okay, go, and stuff. That's not how a real fight is, okay? Now, I know I'm triggering them all. Do not actually fight each other. And don't fight me, don't fight Joe, don't do any of that. If you're gonna fight, go into an actual organized ring or something like that. But all these guys who with their fake bravado, no, I know, and I know, right? To say that I'm not intimidated by that is a great understatement. Will Joe and I actually fight? tyt.com/join is the way to find out. Become a member. It doesn't cost that much.
Oh my God.
Okay, so this is all fun and games, and people take it seriously. But the one thing that is not fun and games, and why I'm going after Joe on actual substance, is stop misleading people. I know, look, I think he's doing the same thing that the Jimmy Dores of the world are doing. My audience is totally right wing now. If I don't kiss their ass, they're gonna get mad at me. Remember Alex Jones ripped into Joe Rogan. And what did Rogan do? For a little brief period of time, they were fighting, okay?
I'd forgotten about that.
And I supported Rogan at that time. I know Jones is psychotic, etc., right? And Rogan backed down. And then he went back to kissing Alex Jones's ass. I don't think it's because of Alex Jones. I think he realizes his audience is totally right wing. So he's like, what do you guys want to hear? You want to hear, oh, the manly thing to do is take ivermectin, okay? And you've got the ass worms, that's what you take it for. And for vaccines, for strong men, you only need ivermectin. You do not need the vaccine. Okay, so if you're gonna do that, yeah, I'm gonna call you out. It's called free speech. So whether it's Joe or his audience, can you just please stop crying? Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.